All right, let's talk about medical jargon. Those big, complicated words that can make your head spin. While today, we're going to demystify all of it and turn that confusion into total clarity.
You've totally been there, right? You're sitting in the doctor's office and they start explaining something and it's like you suddenly need a translator. It's super calming, but I promise you, it doesn't have to be so confusing. Because here's the thing, it's not actually a secret language. It's more like a code, a really logical one, in fact. And in the next few minutes, you're gonna learn exactly how to crack it. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Most of these intimidating words, they're really just built from three simple parts. First, you've got the prefix, which usually tells you where or when. Then there's the root, that's the heart of the word, usually a body part. And finally, the suffix, which tells you what happened, the problem, the procedure, you name it. These are literally the three keys to the whole code.
So let's put this into practice, shall we? We're going to start with Section 1, Decoding the Heartbeat. We'll be looking at terms from the Cardiovascular System, the heart and blood vessels. Our first word looks like a monster, cardiomyopathy. I know, it's a mouthful, but watch this. We can just slice it up into its components, cardio, myo, and that ending, pathy.
And now look how simple this gets. Cardio just means heart. Easy enough. Myo means muscle. And pathy, you're going to see this suffix all over the place. It simply means disease.
So all you do is put the pieces back together like Legos. Cardiomyopathy is a disease of the heart muscle. See, you didn't have to memorize anything. You just decoded it.
Let's try another one. Pericarditis. Again, what's the first step? We break it down. We've got a prefix this time, peri, our root word, cardi, and a brand new suffix, itis.
Okay, this is a great example of how it all works together. That prefix, peri, means around. We already know cardi means heart. And that suffix, itis, get this one locked in because you'll see it everywhere. It always means inflammation.
You put it all together, and pericarditis is simply the inflammation of the sac around the heart. The code just works every single time. You're already getting the hang of this.
Now, this is where it gets really cool. A tiny change in the suffix can totally shift the meaning. Look at angiography versus myelogram. That graphagy ending refers to the process of doing something, like recording, but the suffix gram refers to the actual result, the record or the picture itself. It's a subtle difference, but it's a big deal. Once you start recognizing these parts, it's like a whole new world opens up. Arteriosclerosis? Well, that's arterio for artery, and sclerosis for hardening. Boom, hardening of the arteries. Phlebitis? Phleb means vein, and there's our old friend itis, inflammation. So, inflammation of a vein. You're starting to see the patterns now, aren't you?
All right, feeling a little more confident? Good. Let's move on and see how this skill builds. We're heading into Section 2, Unlocking the Nervous System. And guess what? The exact same rules apply. We're just talking about different body parts.
So first up from the nervous system, encephalitis. Now before we even break it down, just look at that ending. Does it seem familiar? Yep, you got it. It's our good old suffix itis. We already know that itis means inflammation. So the only new piece of the puzzle here is the root, encephalo, and that just means brain.
You combine them, and what do you get? Encephalitis is inflammation of the brain. See? It works no matter what part of the body we're talking about. You've got this.
Okay, now let's look at a word you've definitely heard before, anesthesia. This one is such a perfect example of how a prefix at the beginning can completely flip a word's meaning.
Let's crack this one open. The prefix an means without. The root aesthese means feeling or sensation, and the suffix esia just means a condition of.
So the definition basically writes itself. Anesthesia is the condition of being without sensation or feeling. That little prefix an does all the heavy lifting. Pretty cool, right? And look at this. The list of words you can now figure out just keeps on growing. Neuropathy, that's a disease of the nerves, neuro. Retinopathy, disease of the retina. Otoscope, that's an instrument, scope, for looking in the ear, auto. Every single word tells you its own story once you know the code. So after all that, where does this leave us? Well, we're in our final and maybe most important section. You have the key, because what you've learned here isn't just a handful of definitions. It's a new skill. It's kind of like a new superpower. And this is really the main takeaway for today. By understanding the little parts, you get the power to understand the whole thing. You're not just memorizing words anymore, you're deciphering them. You can walk into these conversations with confidence instead of confusion.
So the next time you see a complicated medical word, maybe on a prescription or in an article or when you're talking to your doctor, don't get intimidated. Just pause, look for the parts, and try to crack the code. So my question to you is, what will you decipher next?